What's up, my channel? It's your friendly neighborhood sassy blonde writer coming at you with another writing video. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. I was actually kind of surprised how much I missed filming videos, to be perfectly honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, editing videos, very stressful. I also was taking a break from my podcast as well. Really missed both of those things. I missed doing something creative and feeling like I was putting things out into the world. And so you're probably wondering, why did I decide to make a new video? The answer is because it's after taking some time off, I decided that instead of getting back to making videos, I wanted to get back to writing. But what better way to hold myself accountable than to kind of sum up what I've been working on over the past month in a little accountability vlog. So that's what I'm going to be calling these, accountability vlogs. So here is my, accountability wrap up for the month of March. It took me a couple of weeks to kind of get everything situated, kind of get myself back into the headspace and the mental habit of thinking about my writing project and not getting caught up with a lot of different things. So I realized one of the things that happened, I think really came out during the pandemic when there was nothing to do, so then my brain went into overdrive trying to come up with everything to do. Probably wasn't the best choice, but yeah, here we are. One of the things that I noticed is I have to limit myself to one project at a time, otherwise I tend to overwhelm myself because I have so many ideas and they're all kind of bouncing around all over the place. So I tried to kind of scale it down, just one thing at a time. So even when I was coming up with ideas, I actually have a bunch of ideas for write with me types of videos. I'm going to focus on the novel I was working on with my book coach because one, that needs work, that needs some TLC, and two, I really love this project, and working with the book coach reminded me how much I love this project. So I'm really excited to get back to that. So the first week of March, didn't really do much, was kind of getting my life in order. The second week of March was when I kind of started getting back into the habit of just writing every couple of days. I'm kind of treating writing like I would treat going back to the gym after taking a break for a little while. So by that I mean, working out for a little while. So I'm just kind of trying to do 30 minutes maximum, at least once a week. That's where I'm kind of trying to get it together, get that momentum going. The first week was actually Pi Day. Pi Day, I wrote for 20 minutes. The next day, I wrote for about 15 minutes, and then I finally finished a flashback scene that I've been really struggling to finish. And the following week, I wrote for about 15 minutes, every other day. We got some emails from Jenny Nash, I forget which one it is, the book coach lady. She wrote this really interesting email about finish a novel in 6 months. After getting this email, I kind of decided, okay, that's what I want to do. The context of the email is not really that important. The email was for a writing retreat, which I'm not going on. Really like the plan of writing a book in 6 months. As much as I love NaNoWriMo, it's not always the most doable. So that is my current plan, to write this novel in 6 months. I feel like it's doable, especially since I feel like I already wrote a lot of parts of it, but I'll get to that in a second. So the next day after that was March 26th, I shuffled some scenes around that I wrote on the first draft of this project that I'm working on. Now I'm counting that as me actually writing because shuffling those scenes around really helps me figure out the order of the sequence of everything. And then the day after that, so I got a lot of work done the third week of March, go me. And then the week after that, I figured out how to compile a manuscript in Scrivener. So one of the things that I'm planning on doing, we'll see if it works out, is I'm going to draft all the scenes and everything, because I already mapped out all the scenes with my book coach. My plan is to kind of use Scrivener to help me draft those individual scenes and then kind of weave them together, compile the manuscript once I'm done, and then go through and kind of weave them together using just probably Google Docs, so that way I can work on it on the go and it's automatically saving. So hopefully that works, mostly because hopping around in Scrivener, it's really easy to kind of forget the context, the scene leading into the scene. It's definitely one of the pluses that I've found with working in Google Docs or Word over Scrivener. So that's what I'm going to do for the final draft, because I feel like that's just going to help me, we'll see. Oh, and then yesterday, I edited and then I rewrote some of the passages that had already been done, and then I finally figured out the structure for my story. And by that, I mean how to split everything. First of all, I figured out how to split everything into chapters, which is something that we didn't work on with my book coach, mostly because she wanted to leave that up to me, which is totally fine, because I probably would have changed my mind by now anyway. So what's interesting is, I'm sorry I keep looking down, I took a bunch of notes for this accountability blog, because I've had some good ideas and I didn't want to forget. Because I'm using In Mady is Raised story structure and flashbacks very heavily as I'm writing, I basically had two choices for how I could write the book and how I could structure everything. The first choice is I could basically have one chapter is present day, the next chapter is a flashback, kind of like the book Sarah's Keys, if you've ever read that. So that was option number one, where I could just do alternating chapters. Option number two, I could weave the flashbacks into the present day stuff. The best example I've thought of for this one, I'm sure there are other ones, but the best example I could come up with was Handmaid's Tale, because you're with Offred during present day, and then all of a sudden she has a flashback, and then it comes back to the present day. And it's kind of interesting to see how everything interconnects for her. So the reason why I'm doing the latter option is because the purposes of my stories, the flashbacks are extremely relevant to what is happening in present day. They're relevant for the character because, for lack of a better way to put it, she's dealing with a lot of trauma and stuff going on. You girl is dealing with things and not well throughout most of the book, but alas. So flashbacks are really important for world building and also for character development and to kind of understand the plot and the character's backstory. And the flashbacks also only come up as they are relevant. So my flashbacks kind of function more as little vignettes, which is good because that kind of makes sure they're short, sweet, and to the point, and I don't accidentally go on too long with a flashback. But it's also I can't really write an entire chapter around this vignette because it just doesn't serve the plot in that way. So that's why I'm kind of weaving things together. Character experiences, reminders of past trauma, so it made more sense to kind of weave them into what's going on at present day and kind of explain her journey that way. So for example, the main character's sister and brother-in-law go missing in the first chapter. This isn't even really a spoiler, it happens literally the first chapter, but anyway. So it makes sense in the first chapter for the main character to promptly be reminded of their wedding and spending time with her sisters and what it was like when her sister got married and she didn't get to see her as much and they weren't living together and that sort of thing. I'm really excited now that I have the structure figured out, because now that I know when I'm doing what chapter, I'm thinking of doing 11 chapters, but that could also change. At the moment I'm doing 11 chapters, but I'm really excited to have the chapters all figured out, because that was something that was kind of stopping my progress. I didn't really know when how to transition, since I didn't know, because when I didn't split it into chapters, I kept thinking of it as just one ongoing story, and so splitting it up into chapters, now I know how I want to transition everything. It was easier to order the scenes and whatnot. Hopefully this helps with the writing process for me, but I guess we'll find out in the next accountability vlog. I also just want to say that bringing back this habit of writing was super helpful, because even if it's just 10 or 20 minutes a day and it's not the full 30 minutes, or it's just 20 minutes every other day or once a week or whatever, it's getting me back into thinking about my project more often than I was. Because I wasn't being bogged down by all these other things. Those 30 minutes or those 10 minutes or 20 minutes were the only time where not the only time, but they were time that was just committed to my writing project and nothing else. I wasn't going to start editing videos. I wasn't going to start editing my podcast. I wasn't going to start playing video games or anything like that during that time. So this was extremely helpful for me. So if you're having trouble getting back to writing, I 100% recommend just 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day. Doesn't have to be every day. It could be every other day, once a week, whenever you have time. It was so helpful, and I really missed writing. I miss using that creative part and imaginative part of my brain in this way. So yeah, there you go. Well, if you're like me and you have trouble balancing things. Personally, I tend to kind of dive in head first into things, which is great on one hand because then I'm super into it, but then it's not good on the other hand because I have trouble balancing other things in my life with this thing that I really want to do. So doing it just 10-20 minutes a day has been super helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video, this little accountability vlog. I really missed making videos for you guys, so if you're new here, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. I post new videos on Wednesdays. I was taking a little break for a little bit, but I'm glad to be back. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and happy writing.